Hello, I'm Alexa Chung. Come under the cover with me.
Under the cover with me.
Under the cover.
At Climax Books. This is a very important book for me. Jürgen Teller, Go Seas, which is his, phenomenal book about all of the girls that were sent to see him for castings, and he takes pictures of them and they all look incredible. The reason that it resonated so much is that when I was younger, I was scouted to start modeling when I was about 15, so probably like 1999. And at that time, it's like pre-internet, pre-social media. And when you existed in that world, you really existed in a vacuum, and you only knew the other girls that you went on castings with. And I always felt like I didn't really necessarily fit in, and especially because I had Chung as a surname, I always sort of wanted to look like all the other girls that were getting work and be really much taller and more blonde and all of these things that were a bit more regular. And my version of beauty was very slim and boring almost. I was like, oh, if you're a model, you look this particular way. And then when I was about 19, I remember seeing this book and seeing all of these other girls that were also like me, who'd been sent on these castings, and look how sort of either vulnerable or empowered or gorgeous or, I don't know, like they've all got their own style, and it really kind of flicked a switch, and I was like, oh my God, when I saw this, I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm not alone, there's like all of these girls in here. Anyway, I ended up meeting Jürgen Teller and telling him that I loved this book because I was at the Chateau Marmont and we were both waiting for our cars and it was taking ages. I think it was pre-Uber. And I was smoking, and he was like, do you want to play ping pong? And I was like, yes. And so we played ping pong together. He said he'd send me the book. Sadly, it's yet to arrive, but I'm still hopeful. I think that my personal style is definitely inspired by reading about loads of other women and their experiences. So for sure, someone like Angelica Houston, like such a legend, lived through amazing times. Her mum was a ballet dancer. I read both her autobiographies, and this second one's fantastic because it's sort of like the glory years of Hollywood. She's dating Jack Nicholson. She's friends with everyone. Obviously her dad was like a titan of the industry, and she just encounters pretty much everyone there is to meet in the 70s. Also does a great line in denim. Like Angelica Houston looks fantastic all the time in Halston, obviously, but her denim styles are my favorite when she's a tomboy wearing a cowboy hat. Cookie Muller, very inspiring. This book is phenomenal. She sort of climbs the Berlin Wall when you're not allowed to. But sometimes it's not even really what they looked like that I find inspiring. It's sort of imagining what they might put on. So someone with that like rebellious energy that was maybe hanging around in the East Village in the early 80s, I'd be like, what would Cookie Muller wear? Or, you know, I'm Angelica Houston and I'm driving in the back of a car and I'm in LA and I'm going to like kiss my boyfriend. What do I put on? So it's more like role play. I think Brooke Shields' Calvin Klein adverts were amazing, and all her pictures that she did with Avedon. And she was just such a like crazy, breathtaking beauty, but nowadays also as vital and amazing. I've been very lucky. I've had lunch with her because she's friends with a close friend of mine, and her stories are phenomenal. And I love anyone that's generous and curious, and she's both of those things. She's not precious about her time in the spotlight. She's like very willing to share. So if you're like, what was it like hanging out with George Michael? She's like, oh, well. My entire personality is based on this book. Literally, that's it. It's just this. This is 5 Girls by Sam Haskins. Once I was released from the prison of modeling and being a conduit for everyone else's ideas, I really went through quite a rapid change, and I really loved it. It was like being shot out of a spaceship suddenly, and it was so exciting to get to express myself sartorially. What I landed on as being the thing that I most wanted to look like was Jill in this book. There's a woman called Jill, And I was obsessed with her. And I wanted to look like Julie Christie. And then through the warp of time, that became Jane Birkin, but really it was just Jill. Reading's very sexy, a prerequisite, in fact, for anyone I date. I think it's very attractive to sit in a bar or a restaurant on your own and read and have a meal alone. I think that's great. My relationship to books is incredibly messy. I take in information in quite an annoying way, I think, and I'm either really interested or really not. I get into a genre groove and I'll be like, right, I need massive, huge, all-encompassing stories about fate and whether or not you're a good person. And then the next week I'll be like, no, I want to read about the CIA and whether they funded any weird programs in the 60s that altered people's minds with LSD or not. So yeah, this is my current passion. And I've started an impromptu book club with my friend Jill, so it's just two of us in it. And we don't even talk about them. So it's really a great book club. We just say what we're about to read and then we read it. The Face magazine, very important. I grew up in the middle of a field and was only really exposed to fashion through what happened to come my way, and that might have been MTV, but also copies of Vogue and whatever my sister was into. But The Face was a big one where I was like, oh wow, there's an explosion happening in London and it looks really exciting. And she's also someone that if you Google image her, she's literally never got a bad outfit on. Any image from any era, she still looks great. And I think it's because, again, it's her personality and she's always wearing the clothes, not the other way around. And then she has an affection for vintage. There's a lot of like 30s beautiful antique dresses and then like a man's coat over the top. And I feel like that mixing masculine and feminine codes is something she really excels at. She's the best. Mossy. Just perfect. What a face. Imagine. Nan Goldin, icon. All of these gorgeous reportage images with a sort of almost William Eggleston eye, but so stunning, and the subject matter was fantastic. I met her and she was so nice. And I asked if I could take a Polaroid of her because I love taking pictures. I heart photography. And she said, yeah, and I took it, and then as it developed, she went, you can keep that. And I was like, thank you. So that's my Nan Goldin story. Not my fave cover, but definitely one of my favorite books. This is Rebel Youth by Karl-Heinz Weinberger. And it documents these teenagers and their style in Zurich in the 60s. And they all have such unique personal style. There's a lot of denim references, and I've designed a lot of denim, so I always come back to this and look at it when I'm starting a collection, because just the way they style themselves and all of the jewelry and belts and like accessories that they've added are so interesting. And I love, it's also a good one for hair and makeup refs if you're on a shoot, like these incredible bouffants. I just find juvenile delinquents in general really compelling. I'm like anyone that's rebellious, as the title suggests, and you know, these people are just like full of sex and longing, and I don't know, you just feel like they're all humping each other. Look at that, the way he's sort of sewn up his, isn't it good? I love this image, and her knitwear and the colours. Also sort of where I've got black hair. Someone on Instagram accused me of looking like Snape the other day, and I was like, no, very good. It's one of my favourite insults. I did ask my boyfriend if he thought that going to a bookshop in a librarian outfit was a bit on the nose, and he was like, he was sort of went, huh? So I thought, perfect, he loves it.